go now to page 32 and talk about the customer identification program. So really, we're talking pillars still, the pillars of the program and how that needs to be evaluated or looked at. But now we're going to get into some more of the nuts and bolts requirements. What needs to be incorporated into your audit process? And from a customer identification program, remember what we said, CIP, that is who is the customer. And there are some specific requirements that have to be met. And this is where we can get into some real transaction testing and kind of get out of that analytical review. But before we move on, let's talk about the analytical review. High level, when you're looking at this program and you're looking at how their customer identification program is laid out in the policies and procedures that are at hand, first off, you want to verify that they don't have any blind spots, okay? So you're going to want to know, okay, does their customer identification program or however they're going through and verifying the identities of customers, does it incorporate all of the different account types that are out there? Have they incorporated all the different methods of account opening? Just recently, I was in a financial institution where they had a great CIP program. They'd written it up years ago. However, they opened the door and allowed for online account opening. And even though they did have a CIP process that was associated with that online account portal, they hadn't updated their written program. So their written program was out of date, right? So they were missing methods of account opening. Do they have the types of identification that is going to be available or what they would be willing to accept? And really making sure that it is all laid out very clearly in their written program. Is the bank size, is it appropriate for the size of the bank or their location or customer base? All of these things should be taken into account when you're really evaluating their customer risk profile. Now, the written program must include at a minimum. So we're on page 32, look at number 2 there. The minimum things that have to be laying out is the process, and they have policies and procedures in place to gather the following information, okay? Name, address, taxpayer ID number, or TIN, oftentimes a social security number, and then look at the bottom one, date of birth for individuals, okay? So those are the 3 bits of information that their policies and procedures have to say that this is what we're gathering. That's a minimum. They could be gathering more, and that's perfectly fine. Just keep in mind when we get to transaction testing here in a little bit, these are the things that you're going to make sure that they are gathering on the front end, and they're going to obtain that information. Then they need to go through a process to verify that information. Okay. Now here I want to pause. Quick audit tip. A lot of times you go into a financial institution and this obtaining bits of information and the verifying process, they bleed together. Okay. Here's how it's supposed to work. It's actually supposed to be a pop quiz. Think of it this way. You're supposed, if they are opening an account for me, they need to be asking me my name, my address, my tax identification number, and my date of birth. All right. They should be asking me that. I should be giving it to them. And then they should be verifying it with some other documentation. And there's 2 typical methods of verifying it. It's either going to be direct verification through documentary process where they get my driver's license or some official unexpired government document, and then they're going to verify that, yes, everything matches up. Or maybe there's a non-documentary process where, okay, I don't have an unexpired driver's license, but I have these other documents that we can rely on to verify the information that was given. Whether that's maybe they've got a consumer report that they pull and they verify that everything matches up, or maybe they've got some other documents that they're going to rely on that's not technically that government issued unexpired ID. So there's 2 ways they can go about it. First off, does their program clearly lay out for all of their different account types how exactly that works and what that non-documentary process is going to look like? Okay. Step 1, make sure that that's all clear. Step 2, are they merging those 2 processes together? Because here's what happens in the real world. I come in and I'm trying to open an account. The person opening the account knows they have CIP. They know they need to have a driver's license. And so what they do is they say, Kevin, I need your driver's license. And they take the driver's license and they just start typing stuff in. Okay, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's good customer service, maybe, but keep in mind, this is a two-step process. They should be able to see that Kevin cannot remember his address. That's a red flag. Kevin does not know what his social security number is. That's a red flag. Kevin wrote down the wrong birthday. That's a red flag. Should be a two-step process, and a lot of time financial institutions, those bleed together. So one thing to be on the lookout for. Also, so that customer verification process on page 33, we talked through, the program. Let me get to the program requirements here.